Welcome to the Savvy Property Investors Podcast, a weekly show that delivers the best hard-hitting property industry news, business advice, and talks that will get you ascending in the real estate industry.
Welcome to another edition of the Savvy Property Investors Show. I'm Charity Chikene, and yes, you're right, the voice is different because this week it's a special edition. Our guest for the week is Ms. Sapphire Gray of the Savvy Women Group. Ms. Sapphire Gray is an award-winning property investor and business coach expert for women with over 30 years of experience. Sapphire has over 19 certified qualifications and she's won over 14 awards. They include, just to name a few, the America's Premier Experts Award for Content of Consumers and Journalists, National Academy of Best-Selling Authors, Be Mogul, one of the most influential and inspirational Black entrepreneurs in Britain today. Top 50 Business Consultant Expertise Nation Leadership Award, Top 50 Influential African and Afro-Caribbean Leaders in the UK. She's also a best-selling author. Sapphire also helps busy professional women become more financially independent by empowering them to build additional revenue via investing in property, which allows them to have control over their financial future. Sapphire, thanks for being kind enough to take the hot seat today and share your entrepreneurial journey. How does it feel today to take the opposite end of the mic?
Nervous, because I know you're going to grill me with some questions. So let's go.
Okay, so before we had this interview, when we were speaking, from the conversations we had, what really sparked or ignited my desire as the first question of the day is the why behind your brand. What is that why that you had that you said, okay, I want to start the Savvy Women Group?
Well, basically, the group was born out of multiple businesses that I owned prior to the Savvy Women Group. I felt that I had different businesses with different business names and wanted to put them under one umbrella. And I felt that I could offer more by doing that and allowing the group to create a group of all the different services that we offered, which would then roll out to women that we served within the company. So changing the branding, changing our name, making it a group of companies, I felt was more beneficial to serve our clients than it was having different strands of the business, which were linked, but not linked under one umbrella.
How many years ago was that?
I started business 30 plus years, but the group that I created came off the back of the SG Business Consultancy. So I started this business over 3 years ago now as a group, not as a business.
Okay. What was the starting journey like? It is 3 years ago, but you creating the basics for the group started all those years back. What is different now as opposed to then?
Well, the difference is that I know how to serve my clients. What I found is that I was pulling in different directions under one umbrella. If it was the estate agency that we had or the letting agency and then the business consultancy, I felt like I was pulling in two different directions. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted them to have the group name synonymous with the services that we offered with under the umbrella. So I was able to really stream down what we was offering, how we was offering it, and making sure that the clients were benefiting from all that we had under our group, as opposed to individual services that we're offering.
Okay. Have your priorities changed from what they were then to now?
Absolutely. I've grown as a person, an individual, but I've also grown as a business as well, because I've allowed the business to take on a different look and feel in regards to how we serve our prospective clients. I noticed over the years I've been in business that the one thing that kept on jumping back to me is that clients like hand-holding. They like to know that someone's going to be there for them. And I wanted to make sure that when I created the group, that was the key message, that we are there for you. We are there to serve you. We are there to give you all of our energy and all of our knowledge so that they can grow their business in turn and feeling in safe hands. So that's, yeah, it has definitely developed and changed, but it's changed through the growth of myself and then developing the business out through that.
So is that something that had you, the power of turning back the clock, you would change?
100%. With any business, it evolves over a period of time and you start to get used to looking at who you are as an individual and what more you can do. And when I say what more I can do, I always make sure that I educate myself as well in the area that I feel that my weakness is, because everyone has, when you're developing a business, everyone has a weak spot. So I wanted to make sure that I could turn that weakness into a strength, and really give my clients the necessity that they needed, that they were asking for. And when you get a lot of your clients saying the same thing, you know it's time for change. You know it's the right time to change. It's the right time to develop yourself. It's the right time to implement that within the business that you are doing, and making sure that the business is not confusing as well. And that's the reason why it works so well today, because it's no longer confusing. There isn't a different name for a different business. It's all under the Savvy Women group, and each of the businesses has Savvy in it, so they know it's synonymous with the group's name. And I think that made the difference in what we was doing.
We've understood your why you started the brand, but when was that day or time that you decided that you wanted to establish your company? When did you establish it, and how did you go about it?
So establishing my company, I'd have to go back. My original why was always my children. I've got four daughters, and my why was, how do I raise a young family, being a single mother at a young age? I was a teenage mother, so I needed to understand my why then was, I want to give all to my kids. However, I needed to make sure that I established something that was going to be solid and could carry me through, not only through the raising of my children, but carry me through to my younger, older age range when I get matured enough to retire. So I wanted to make sure that I had a solid foundation and built upon that all the time. So establishing the business was always there at the forefront from when the inception of me actually being in business. But to create the foundation that it is now is basically looking at what we wanted to achieve, and what I wanted to achieve as a mother, what I wanted to achieve as a woman and as a businesswoman, and what I wanted to show other business women that they could achieve. I wasn't coming from a place of a silver spoon scenario. I was coming from I would always say it, plastic spoon scenario. So for me, I wasn't raised with money, so I had to learn how to create my own individual wealth, but I wanted to pass that knowledge on. And I always believe in passing whatever you have onto others so they can also build it out in a safe environment as well. It's not about building millions overnight. I'm not an advocate of someone promoting, oh, I can make you a millionaire. I'm about a slow process of developing yourself, developing your business, that you're building on a solid foundation. And even if the growth is slow, that doesn't matter. What you need to achieve is a rhythm of continuality, something that is continuous, something that you are developing, and always striving to do your best for the people that you are working on behalf of.
I love that message, being slow but steady. And I love the analogy that you've used about the plastic spoons, because usually sometimes we get, overwhelmed with what is happening around us, that, we become the challenges that we face. But I like that analogy. So as you said, it's a plastic spoon kind of scenario, but I'm sure you're a mother, you're a businesswoman, you're juggling so many hats all at once. That journey is not rosy. It's not, like a bed of roses at the end of the day. So what challenges did you face then, and then come to now? Do you still face them?
Absolutely. Business is not without its challenges, and it's how you deal with each individual challenge that makes you who you are. In Jamaica, they use this expression called hill and gully, and I've gone through that. I've gone up and I've gone down. I've cried, I've sulked, thrown tantrums. I've done all of it, and I've laughed, and I've patted myself on the back. And the thing that I work towards now is rewards. I reward myself for every good I do. I don't care whether that is a small, I made a client get an aha moment, or I done something in a business that helped the business, or helping my team, or whatever I do, always make sure that I give myself a reward for that. And that could be a simple pat on the back or something that I wanted, but I always make sure that it's consistent. And because we all have situations where we could be up 1 minute. I go back to 2008. I was on top of the world earlier in January 2008. Come mid 2008, I was wondering whether I was going to survive or not. I was wondering whether I was going to lose everything or not. It was such a panic for me. When you go through recessions, and I've been through a couple, your business is whether you can have a solid foundation that you can ride the storms. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to understand, could I ride the storms? I mean, yes, I've gone through a couple of recessions through my business. Yes, I have ride those storms, but it wasn't easy. And I knew I had to sit back from the business as well. And that's what I always show people, sit back from the business. What could you do to help your business to just slowly come back in, and then you can build up momentum. I mean, we've just gone through a pandemic and everyone's businesses went to pots. There was a lot of people saying, I can't even open back up, or it's going to take me a long time to recover. And it's at these moments that I have worked towards, because through the whole pandemic, I grew my business rather than my business going down, because the lessons that I learned from previous years, from previous recessions, I was able to pivot and navigate my business, that it grew. And that wasn't just overnight. That was learning my own harsh lessons and saying, hey, don't look at the negativity of what's happening around you. Try to put some positivity in it. Try to be positive and saying, okay, so that's happened. What do we do now? That kind of argument with themselves. That's happened. What do we do now? And how do we do it? And move yourself forward.
All right. So maybe if you could give us like a case scenario, what is that one challenge that you've seen, you've overcome, that has taken you through? The lesson is like it always keeps on giving.
I'm going to reframe that, because it's like the lessons is always about being positive for me.
Okay.
I have to have that kind of attitude towards myself, because to have a negative outlook on everything that we do, now I could lose money, but I have to look at it that it's a positive thing. There's got to be a spin on it. There's got to be something positive, that why did I lose the money, or why did that happen? So I try to put a positive spin on it. Yeah, we've gone through a journey in the last 18 months, but I looked on that as a positive spin. What could I get out of this? How could I help other people get through this? Where's the support? Now, support doesn't necessarily mean giving it from your business perspective. Support could simply mean just reaching out and comforting someone. And I felt that's where I blossomed. That's where I was good at. I knew how I could support people on a personal level. I knew I could talk. I knew I could reach out. And I had to really change my own mindset with reaching out and talking, because I didn't like doing lives. I did not like going on camera. And that's the truth. I was very, that was my nemesis against who I was as a person. I just didn't like, not that I didn't like talking to people. I could do that live out on the road and, do that at massive events. And I was comfortable in that zone. But actually going in front of a camera to speak to people that you couldn't, you could either see them or you couldn't. You're just using your voice. And that made me very nervous. But I realized that my nervousness was just within me. It was my own bugbear, and I needed to get over myself with that, because I knew what I had to say would help somebody else. And in turn, they could help somebody else. And I felt keeping what I had to say to myself to support other people was would be a selfish act on my behalf. Hence why I wanted to go out there and do what I needed to do. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. I think I slightly.
You have, because now my mind is big, because I want to know, what steps did you take? Like you said, you were stuck in your own cocoon, but you had to blossom and share your story, because it's of benefit to everyone. Did you take steps towards that, or what was that thing that just clicked and you're like, okay, I need to change?
I went on and I have to give her kudos. Let's see, social media, Zoe Keynes. I went on her challenge, 30-day challenge. She does social media, and part of that challenge was to do live recordings. And one of the things she said, you can just do it into the group. I want you to do it, but just do it into the group. And she actually gave you sort of a get out of jail free card. So you didn't actually have to do it, but she said it would be nice to do it. And then I thought, Well, if it's into the group, I'm already on Zoom with them. I know their faces. What harm would it do, you know? So I done that live. That was the first ever live I did. And it went into the group, and the feedback from that, and it wasn't a case of getting good feedback. It was just that I got feedback. I didn't care whether it was positive or negative. It was just the fact that I'd done it, and people were saying, "Yep, liked it," or whatever the comments were, and saying, "Well, you're a natural." And I was thinking, "Well, no, I didn't feel like natural at the time," but it felt so good. It felt like it was the first time I got an award or something. It just felt like I'd done something so out of my own comfort zone. But it felt so good about doing it. So I have to give her kudos for actually encouraging me to do that. And I mean, I always keep on saying to her, if it wasn't for her, I don't know whether what I do now would exist on the live side of things. But she really did encourage, and she does that with everyone. She's a really, really kind and nice person. So for me, I'm giving props and kudos to ZC Social Media, Zoe Kane. She's absolutely excellent in getting you out of your own way. And that is the key thing. Getting the people, getting the coaches that you may need to support your business, that that will help your business go forward. And will make you into a different person as well in a positive way. Okay.
I like that. Back in the day, we used to, coin the acronym FAIR as false expressions appearing real. And I think it's kind of what a majority of people go through. I'm glad that you've conquered yours. I am still here freaking out and trying to figure out, am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right word? Is it coming across the way I want it to be? But I guess we, as an individual, you'd always want to portray the best aspect inside of you, that you end up now destroying what it is that you can, share with other people. So I like that.
I also feel that as well, that sometimes I think I resonate with people more because I'm authentic, because I'm not shy in saying, I had a fear of going in front of a camera. I'm not shy in saying that I needed coach. I'm real. I'm human. So therefore the realness of me has come out. And I think that's resonated with my clients as well, because I'm not just an ordinary coach. I'm not just one of those people that I just want your money and forever upselling to you. I'm there to support you on your journey. I've gone through a journey, and my journey has been so real. So therefore I'm showing them that, yes, we all have life situations and adversities that has happened to us, but how do we navigate that? How do we go forward? So I think me coming out and saying, yep, I didn't like going in front of a camera, or me saying, yes, I'm dyslexic, so I really have a hard time with that as well. Or me saying, there's a shy element, and people think, shy, Sapphire, you're so shy. And I say, well, yeah, that actually is a shy element to me, but just being my true, authentic self. And I think that has resonated with a lot of people, because it's showing that, yes, we all can go through our own traumas. Even though we're an expert in our field, we all still are human beings that have a personal life, that has our own personal challenges that we have to, on a daily basis, work through. And there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Out of all you've just, talked about, what are the three things, the three words you'd want somebody to pick out of just that statement that you made?
Be authentic. Be you. Don't fear, and speak out.
We're taking a short break because I need to come and literally be able, because I need to dive deeper into those three, because I think it sums up every entrepreneur's journey. We're coming back shortly.
This week's episode of the Savvy Property Investors Podcast was brought to you by our sponsor, the Savvy Women Group. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, head over to our website, www.savvywomen.co.uk, to gain access to our free resources and more insights about our guest speaker today. Remember, we make your business our business, so you can unlock your full potential and improve your quality of life.
Welcome back to the Savvy Property Investors Show. I'm Charity Kene, and on the hot seat today we have Sapphire Gray of the Savvy Women Group. She's been your host. She's been asking the tough questions, but today she's on the receiving end. Sapphire, thank you for the first half portion of the show where we have discussed your beginning, and now we want to dive deeper into the group, the Savvy Women Group. You started it 3 years ago because you wanted to put everything under one umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know, because a majority, even I struggle with it. I'm like, okay, I'll start my business tomorrow, but I'm like, I don't have the capital. So capital is always the best excuse anyone could use, because like without capital, I can't open an office, or without capital, I can't buy my produce or do this and that. So it's a perfect scapegoat. But teach us today, where did you get your funding?
All right, so my funding's, as I said, I've been in business over 30 years. So I've accumulated funding over that period of time. So the business was cash positive. So, and that was born out of me being an investor as well, because part of my own business growth, I'm a property investor and developer as well. So I have accumulated my finances through that pathway. So I built my businesses. They've always been cash positive. So that's how I was able to fund this business. And it wasn't, I was funding a new business. I was pivoting the business name. So I rebranded the group. So it's not as if to say the business was different. I just literally went from one name to another and rebranded that out. So the business has been continuous. It's just under a different name.
For a majority of entrepreneurs out there, so be it that they're employed now, that they have that dream of becoming entrepreneurs themselves, as I've just said earlier, in regards to capital being a scapegoat for majority of us, it's like a way of pushing our dreams and putting them at bay. Is capital, in your opinion, as an entrepreneur, as a mogul, is capital something that should deter you from, starting your dream, going on your entrepreneurial journey?
Absolutely not. I always say to any woman and man that is building out their business, if you're currently working and you know that you want to work for yourself, I always say set yourself a target of 6 months to come out of your current employment, but you have to dual building your business while working. Now that's what is that's the caveat of building out your business, and that's where people fail themselves.
Okay.
Because they don't know how to time manage working for somebody else and building out their business. There's some people that just dive in, they come in over evening, they're working on their business, they're continuously doing that in the evening, weekends, they're doing that as well. So they're doing a dual purpose. They're working for someone, but also building out their business as well. And once you get to the point where you've built your business and your revenue from your business is coming in, is outstripping the revenue from your employment, and you have at least 3 months ahead of yourself from your business, that's when you can leave your employment. So I always say, make sure that you put the effort in, set out with a plan when you're going to start making money in your business. So you're building your business, got a working document that you're working towards, and you know how you're going to get your revenue in. Once you understand that, once you start building that out and you get to the point where you say, okay, I understand that I'm now making money in the business, it's now it's covering my household income. Now you can then transition from being an employee to an employer. And that is how I've always developed my businesses. I've always made sure that I've got enough money to always make sure if I'm starting a new project, it carries over. So the businesses are always there, but it's always making sure that I've got enough money to always cover my house, because that's the one thing you don't want to sacrifice when you're leaving, transitioning out from being an employee, is can you still pay yourself? Can you still pay into your home? Is your mortgage, is your bills covered? Is all the necessities for your standard living covered? And sometimes we even make sacrifices there as well. Sometimes we even say, okay, what's the basic that I need to live on and survive on to transition myself out to build out this business so I can just work full time on my business. And that's the key of working out what your income is from your employment. And if that income, for instance, was £2,000, you just need to be making 2,000 consistently in your new venture, your new business, over 3-month period and know that you can still make that money, then you can leave your job and concentrate full time on your business, which will give you more leverage and more money coming in.
I'm curious, if we needed you to help us, transition through that journey, do we have a Savvy course for that?
Absolutely. A lot of my clients have come on and worked with me to try and transition from employee to employer. And I've got a course for that. I help them to transition from that and develop their skills in which how to set out an agenda, how to build out a working document that they can transition. We'll work out the money on the course, how much money you need to live on. So we've got a document that helps you go through it, and it's the truth, a true document, because people, when they go through this document, they think, am I spending that amount on on things? Am I, and then I help them to look at where they can make savings, so they're not continuously spending that out on their household. And then we go through that, then we start to plan out and map out what their business is, how can they get revenue in, what their marketing strategies are going to be, where all of the different facets of their business, where their sales are going to come in, and we map it out. And when we map out all of those things, they start to realize, okay, and now I've got a plan, a working document. I don't like to call it a business plan. I like to call it a working document that they can work towards and work it in small bites. And I always say 3 months should be sufficient enough, 90 days, to get you start moving in your business and start getting that revenue coming in.
Okay. What's that, in your opinion, one expense culprit that you think people should ease on to at least help them in their transition journey?
Stop eating fast food. A lot of us like comfort food. A lot of us like going out to fancy restaurants, over the last year, a lot of savings have been made, and a lot of people have admitted it, that they've saved on the coffees, they've saved on the restaurants, they're going to the movies and things like that. Now, I don't want to take away your entertainment, but if you're serious about building out your business, if you're serious about developing yourself as an entrepreneur, there is sacrifices to be made. And those little things can come in time. Those are your rewards for when you do achieve your goals. So you can put them back into place, but those are as rewards, as opposed to you're doing it on a weekend basis. There's people that have spent £300-400 just in a weekend on alcohol. It goes out. There's certain things you can cut out and cut down on. Looking at your utility bills, what's the best prices you could put yourself on? Things that you can cut down or cut out is to do. It's not about going shopping every weekend and buying in abundance. You have to look at what your needs are as opposed to what your wants are. And once you understand that dynamic, then you can then leverage what you're saving and apply that into what you're trying to achieve.
Okay. So you're a property investor and coach. So I want us to imagine this as a house. So the Savvy Women Group is a house. So it's standing, it's a house. So we are designing it.
Okay.
So we know you need to bring in the couch, the beds, the everything. So those small things is what I'd want us to break down. It's here, it's the house. So how do you go about getting your employees?
So if you're using the analogy of a house, right. So I always look at the base. So you got to build a base.
Okay.
So we created a base for our business. We knew what our business was about. We understood what we wanted. Then you're creating a foundation. You're pouring a foundation. That's the solidness of it. So when you build upon the base and then the foundation, you've got a solid foundation to build upon. So bringing people in. Then you do creating the framework of your house, and the framework of your house now becomes your employees. They're helping you coming in different parts of that framing. So they could be the sides, they could be the roof, they could be the windows, so they're helping you build the components of the house.
Okay.
When you're going through the training with your employees as well, so you're saying to them, you're giving them a department that they're working within. So with my employees, I've got people that's working on digital marketing, people that's working on the advertising side, administration side, PR side, my personal PR side, social media, sales. So you've got different facets of the house now coming together into one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in order for that house to be stable and stability, you've got to give training.
Okay.
So always training on the move with my staff, my team. I don't like to call them employees, my team. We're always training, we're always learning, we learn together. So that's bringing the foundation, the base, the foundation, the exterior, and then now we're going moving in. This is the cells and the heart of the home. When you're
Mm-hmm.
starting to build out the heart of the home, you're looking at each room of the business. You're looking at what it needs. What does the business need? How can the business be facilitated? What else can we do to help our clients? That's every room in that house is different. So you've got the bedrooms, which will be
Mm-hmm.
what the client's needs are, what's the training that needs in the living room. That could be synonymous with how is our output going? Are we doing live webinars? What are we doing to connect with our clients? What are we doing to connect with our community? So each part of the house is now interconnecting because we're now looking at each area of our business that we can say, right, this is all that we're doing within the business to help our community, to help our clients. When you go to the looking at the design of the business, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the interior design of the home, you have to look at, are you doing enough? What can you move? Because even when I've on our membership, our clients were saying we would like it to be in smaller chunks on specific strategies that we teach. So I
Mm-hmm.
done deep dives. I pivoted and said, all right, this wasn't part of the membership, but this is what they were asking for. So if someone's asking you for something, then you deliver it. And that's when you bring in the extra furniture. That's when you bring in the extra things that will make the living, your living space more comfortable. So I started to bring in different programs within the business that facilitated the needs of our clients. And it
Mm-hmm.
was such a win. And that's what makes a home beautiful. When you start to see little things like your finishing touches, your pictures, your little plants, when you start to do that within your business, using that analogy and putting the little finishing touches, adding little things that makes it more beautiful, that makes your clients sing and think, this is really good. I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
You've got a winner. And then you just see the smoke out your chimney. Well, we had that. And then you say, I've now got a finished home, but you're continuously working. No one ever stops
Mm,
working on their home. There's always
true.
something that you're always wanting to improve or add on to. And if it's the same in your business, you're always adding on to your business. You're always adding on to different things. You're bringing on different team members. You're bringing on, adding in different programs or different services that you can offer your clients to make it more like that you're the one-stop shop. I don't like using that expression, but they want to come to you. They want to have your services because you're offering them something that is really helping them to become better people and better entrepreneurs, and facilitating as we do in their property journey and giving them that little extra. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where it really does then make you feel humbled and sit back and say, hey, I'm really doing a lot for my clients and I'm enjoying the process and they
Mm-hmm.
are enjoying the process. And that's how you build a lovely home in the sense of business as well.
Uh, okay, so our home is here, the house is there, it's ready.
Yeah.
How do we market our businesses? Or rather, in this instance, picking out the strategies you use to market the Savvy Women Group brand.
So how do we market it? We do so many different things. I mean, even
Mm-hmm.
tonight we've got a live, and this will be on a Wednesday, and we've got a live going at masterclass. So we're teaching, we're continuously teaching. We're marketing, doing different things in the business. So we've got a drop-in clinic on Tuesdays. We've got
Mm-hmm.
on Monday. We've got candid moments with myself on a Friday. There's different things, and each day also delivers a different strand of the business where we engage with our clients, where we answer our clients' questions, where we ask the community, because it's not necessarily, you don't have to be a client. We want to feed into the community, the wider community, to show people that you can succeed. It doesn't matter whether you're part of our group. We just want
Mm-hmm.
the best for everybody out there. So we want to feed into the wider community and saying, hey, this is who we are as a business. Would love to have you part of our group. But we also want to give you that encouragement that you can also achieve what you want to achieve. So we're continuously putting ourselves out there, making people aware of who we are and what we do and why we are doing it, because there's always a reason why you do something. You're not just doing it. And in my instance, I'm not doing it for the love of the money. I'm doing it for a wider purpose. There's always a purpose in anything that I do. And I believe that when you achieve your goals through life and you're getting out and you're going through and transitioning through each why, because your whys can move and change over a period of time. And my why has, yes, my initial journey, my why was my children. That's never changed. They're always my children, and now my grandchildren have come into the fold of that, and they will always be those where I'd always want to reach out and show them who I am as an individual. Yes, they're all adults now, but they're still my why. I still work for my kids and want to achieve things to show my children what you can achieve when you put in the work. But my wider why is for other women that have been in different situations and life situations that's been detrimental to them. That's my biggest why now. And that's why we're setting up the charity, Safe Haven, to help those women who's been in life-threatening situations, domestic violence situations, or just abusive relationships, where we can help them. So that's become my foundation. That's become my why. That's become my mission out there, to develop that and continue with that. So yes, when we're doing marketing, we're not just doing an ordinary marketing. We're trying to send out a message, a wider message, to say we're here for you. And we will always be there for you. You can reach out to us. It's not about just tapping into someone's pocket. It's about saying, heart-centered, we want to be there for you. We want to give you the support. We want to show you that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. As long as you're willing to put it in, we're willing to give it out.
Okay. Get candid with me, Sapphire, here. As an entrepreneur and as Sapphire, the individual, do you define success differently as an entrepreneur as opposed to you being Sapphire, the individual, or do they cross? There's no definite.
I measure success through me as an individual rather than success through my business. And the reason why I see it through me as an individual, because it takes a lot to get up in the morning to say, I'm going to be doing this for other people. It does. Rome wasn't built in a day. And when you wake up in the morning, yes, I praise God for waking up every day. But at the same time, you get up to serve other people. You have to want to do that. You have to have the passion to do that. You have to, I call it the leap out of bed moment for me. I love to get up and I love to work on behalf of my clients. I love to serve the wider community. It makes me happy. That's my happy place. I love helping people. So success to me is when I see the wider community, my clients, succeed. That brings me nothing but no enjoy. And that's yes, it comes off the back of the business model, but the business model could not be run without Sapphire being in it. So yes, success is measured by me, what I want to give out. How am I as a coach, as a business leader? What am I doing in order for people to see that I'm really genuinely there? And success is when people recognize that you are genuinely there for them and can actually verbalize and say, actually, you said what you was going to do and you delivered it. I never want no one to turn around and say, you said this and never delivered it. I don't want that. I always want someone to say, you said it, the expression, what was said on the tin is, or whatever. I can't remember the expression how it goes, but I want some people to say that you said that you was going to do this and you over-delivered. That's success to me.
Okay. Highlight for us a moment that you delivered success.
Oh, wow. I went through, and I'm going to do a recent one. I've done this over a period of time. I've built people's portfolios over millions individually. I've managed things. I've done things. But I think the success for me was I started a membership through this whole pandemic situation. I started a membership group, And that group started last year, November 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it officially launched in January 2021.
Okay.
It launched on the 18th. And sadly for me, I lost my mum on the 25th. So it launched on the 18th and I lost my mum on the 25th. Now, had I not forward planned all their modules, all what was going to happen, it could have actually just crashed. So for me, I think that was one of the biggest achievements, that I could still maneuver the business. It was a new membership group, remember, it was the founding members, and I was able to do that alongside grieving, because everything was in place. The team was in place. Everyone was there to support the business, while I could go off and do my personal. And as I said, personal things will happen. Personal things do come into your life on a daily basis that could disrupt your business, that could disrupt you as a person going forward. But I was able to share this with my members. And when I poured into them as a human, as a woman, the outpour from them was just phenomenal. It actually blew me away. It actually made me cry, because it was like they really understood, and they would like, slow down, you don't have to do it. And I just felt the more they said that, the more it really lifted me, and it felt like I was really supported by this community of women that said, we're here for you, don't worry about us, we're going to be here, we're not going anywhere, you need to go off and do what you need to do. And it just gave me the freedom in my head that no matter what was going to happen, they were always going to be there. So I think that was one of my most successful moments, because it was navigating grief, simultaneously doing a new business. And that I've never had to go through that in that process in such a short space of time. Things could happen later down in the year when I've set up a business, but never on top of one or the other. And it was a powerful moment for me to recognize that all of what I've worked for over the years, all of what I've done over the years, all of what I planned for in this membership has come to fruition, because had I not planned it the way I did, I would have really been in a precarious position. I wouldn't have able to have done what I did and take out the necessary time that I had to, in order to facilitate that moment in my life. So and it went really well, and I think that made me more connected with community. It made me more connected. They felt more connected with me, because this was again reaffirming my authenticity with them. It was reaffirming that yes, she can, she may be an expert in this, but she's also can go through certain things that we're all have been facing. It's not been just me going through it. There was members in there that was also going through it themselves, and I was able to pour into them, and they were able to pour into me. And I thought that in itself, I felt a success in a different way to how people will measure success. But yeah, it was good.
What have you enjoyed most about starting, your Savvy Women, group journey? What have you enjoyed? What is that one thing that you can highlight that really makes your day about your company?
Just the feedback from the clients saying this is just brilliant. It's, nothing gives you more joy than when people are really getting what you're trying to do for them, getting the process, developing themselves. You seeing them coming from not wanting to speak out, and they're speaking out now, and they're just becoming these women, these confident, and I call them my boss ladies. They are bosses, and developing to become these shy, reserved people, to becoming these, confident boss women. And I love that. I've been able to really help them, because it's not all business. And I want people to listen to really understand this. I don't just teach business. I help you through your journey, and your journey could be personal. You could come to me and have a situation, and that could stop you in your tracks if we're in the process of you're doing your work, and then something happens. I reach out to my clients when I notice that someone's not being on a call. I physically pick up the phone and say, "Hey, how are you?" I'm not just one of those coaches that I just sit on the ivory tower and just sit there and think, they will come back when they want. I notice when something is not right. I notice when my clients is not showing up, and I reach out to them and say, hey, I'm just reaching out. How are you doing? I don't want to know about the course or any work. I want to know how they're doing. And I think that set me apart from other coaches, because I wear my heart on the sleeve, and I really want to make sure that my clients, my community knows I'm there for them, not just as paying members, not just as paying clients. I'm there for you. If something's wrong and I think, oh, that I haven't seen or heard from X in a while, I'll pick up the phone. I'm not sending you an email. I'm picking up the phone. How you doing? And that to me, that's connecting on a whole different level.
What's next? What can we look forward to from the Savvy Women brand?
Well, we're starting the charity and we're launching that in Kenya. And a lot of people have said, why Kenya? But we are. I have a team over there. And I always do research before actually venturing into things. And I know that the community in Kenya, I want them to feel that we're stepping into a space where I want their support. I'm a Black woman, so therefore I want to start from my roots. So, and that's why I want to transition over there. And so many African continents, West Indian continents, and women across the world are facing domestic abuse. And I want to highlight it and start it. And it's primarily because I've got a team over there, and we've got facilities to help us. So that's the next big move. We're also starting our Savvy Women VA business as well, and helping other entrepreneurs to get team members into their fold, to get under their business, so they're not wearing all the multiple hats as well. And then just moving our membership forward and building it out, and really trying to just deliver and over deliver for our clients, and just putting ourselves out there to help other entrepreneurs build out a successful business, to become profitable businesses, which in turn creates generational wealth, which in turn creates their retirement and their luxury retirement. And that's what we're doing. And we're continuously working on our brand to make sure that happens and we deliver it.
Now, it wouldn't be justice if I didn't make space for you to talk about the woman out there. I'd want you to have a one-on-one, up-close moment with the women out there who are listening to you and who just need that, that little bit of encouragement. You've spoken about your journey. You've spoken about it so well with so much passion. The woman out there who's listening to you, you're a woman's coach. You help women attain their financial freedom. And in this world and in this day and age, money, let's just agree, it helps move things along. So to that woman who's listening to you, what words of encouragement would you give them? We wear many hats as women. What would you say to help turn their or rather shift their mindset from that of I'm boggled down to, hey, listen, I'm going through all these challenges, but I can make it. Sapphire did. She's going to be, my role model. She's somebody I can look up to, and I can attain it as well. What would you say?
Firstly, stop the fear and ask for help. And I say that in such a loving way. Women tend to not ask for help. They are the catalyst of the helpers. Their initial innate reaction to anything, I want to help you. I want to be there for you. What can I do? But who's there for them? We are mothers and mothering personalities. That's who we are. That's our nature. That's how we are born. But I always say women never ask for help. Women never reach out and say, I need help. I want your support. How can you help me? Because we feel that we will be rejected. So I want women to realize that there's two answers in life. And I always say this, and I make light of it because there's only two answers you can get in life when you ask somebody for help, is yes or no. And the moment you turn around and ask someone for help, you're opened up yourself. You've become vulnerable. And a lot of women do not like to become vulnerable. And I noticed that with myself. And I never liked to ask for help because I was thinking, what if someone said to me no? It's like I'd feel embarrassed, my face would go hot, and I want to curl up and die, as they say. But I realized that was a silly thought process in my own head. Get out of my own way. The moment I learned to ask for help, I improved tenfold. I felt like I was one of those closed squash flowers, and I started to blossom just simply for asking for help with the right people, building my confidence. Now, people tend to feel that I was always a confident person. Um, and I was born confident. Well, no, I had to learn how to become confident. And learning how to become confident is in baby steps, is developing yourself and saying, and standing tall. When people, I always say to people, stand up tall, straighten out yourself, straighten out your back, pull your shoulders back. You are a woman and you can become a boss woman. And just by straightening yourself up, by looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself, you've got this, because you have.
Mm-hmm.
Every woman, every man, in fact, out there has it. You have the ability to do whatever you want. We're all built, that's built into us. We just need to feel that we can ask for help. And when we ask for help, it doesn't matter whether we get a yes or no, you ask the next person. And you keep on asking until you get that help. Then you build your confidence by looking at yourself and telling yourself, I am good enough to do this. Because some of us fear that we're not good enough to do it. And we put ourselves, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. You are good enough to achieve anything you want in life.
Mm-hmm.
There's the thing that people tend to feel that you can't achieve things. I'm dyslexic. And I put it out there openly and honestly, saying, look, I struggled from university coming up with reading, looking at words. But I told people, if I don't know a word, and I will say I can't read, I don't know it. I'm straight out saying it because it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm very open with who I am. So because of that, I've become more confident in who I was. My confidence was shattered because of my reading ability when I was younger in my school years, and teachers never recognized the dyslexia within me. So I went through school, being a class clown and everything like that, and that's where my confidence was shattered. The moment it was recognized from one of my lecturers at university, I just felt like, again, this squash flower blossoming. And every time that I achieved something, every time that I asked for help, and it happened. And if it didn't, I moved on and asked for someone else for the help. And every
Mm-hmm.
time I started to pull my shoulders back and stand tall and look in that mirror and say, I can do this, I started to blossom. And then go to the people that are genuinely there to hold your hand, that genuinely want to see you succeed. This doesn't necessarily come within the family, because it takes a long time for your family to recognize that you're on a journey, a personal journey and a business journey for yourself. So even your friends and family might be the ones that are holding you back. Look at who you are and say, do I really want this? And fight through that. And if you really want something, you will get it. And always say that I can achieve. No one is out there. There's always going to be someone that is going to be your cheerleader. And I always tell all of my clients, I'm your personal cheerleader. And if I have to get the tassels to prove it, I will get the tassels to prove it. I will always cheerlead anybody that comes into my fold, because I believe that they need to hear they are worth everything and understand your value. So, get out of your own way, build your confidence, you know, don't ask for help. Know your value, know that you're worth somebody, that you are worth something. We all are. We all have the ability in ourselves to be of greatness. And I believe that in each individual person, whether you're a man or a woman, I believe that we all are full of greatness. And we need to make sure that we believe that in ourselves as well. And that we can then take those hats of negativity, put them in a box and throw them away. And then we're going to get the hats of positivity and start wearing them, and wearing them with our chest high and our B in the front, and saying that we are a boss, because that's who you are. You're a boss. Whether you think you're a mini boss or a big boss, you are still a boss. And I just want to champion each individual person and say, we've got you. We're here
Mm-hmm.
for you. And there's other women and men that will support you on your journey. There's groups that I belong to that pour into you. They may not have the same business model. They may not be understanding what your business is. But the
Mm-hmm.
moment that you're trying to do something, there's other people out there that will give you that support, that you can be part of that community. I'm part of so many different communities that they give me different things to keep me going, keep me motivated, keep me supporting my journey, as in turn I support theirs. And that's what it's about, is coming together, irrespective of whether it's your business model or not, irrespective of whether you're starting a business. Go into the groups that are going to support you, who you are as an individual, and want the best for you. As I said, that might not necessarily come from friends and family, but there is other people. Sometimes it takes the stranger to make you who the person that you are. And I found that over the years, that's what's happened to me. I have a very good, close, my friend, my bestie is my sister. And she's able to channel through me. She's able to, support me. She's my cheerleader as I am hers. So whatever we do in life, we're always cheering on each other, and have been since we was little girls, always making sure that we are getting what we want out of life. And that's the thing you need. You need people around you that is going to give you that cheerleading moment and shout from the sideline, says, you can do this.
Do you know, it's so ironical how we always, read on the newspaper, or watch it on TV, or listen to it over radio, how, women tear each other down. But being able to, work with you and to just hear you speak passionately about, your desire to help women out there, I think maybe if you could touch on it, what has been your experience with that? Have you seen women tear women down? What is your take?
Over the years, I've been in many different environments, different business environments, different networking environments, and I've seen how sometimes there's cliques of women that are, and the one thing that I knew I never ever wanted to form is be part of, or allow any of my community to be part of this clique, and made other women feel on the outside or ostracized from that group. And how I've managed to navigate that is making sure that I mean, just the other night, I took out all of my members, those that could make it, out for dinner. I took them out for dinner because I wanted to know that they're part of one family. You don't have cliques within the family. Yes, you've got probably a favorite sister or something like that, but I wanted to show them you are part of one sisterhood, and we're all there on the same journey. Even me as the coach, we're all on the same journey going forward, and we need to support and be there for one another. And that to me is how women should behave. It's not necessarily how women do behave, but I noticed that the younger people are more in tune with what I speak on, of being as one unit as opposed to separate units. Now, if you find that you're in an environment that is not working for you, leave. Don't put yourself through a situation where it can be detrimental to you, or you feel, this something, it can hurt me emotionally, because you're part of a group of women that are pushing you out. Find yourself a group of women that are accepting you for who you are. And it's always about who you are. Don't go around pretending that to be somebody else. If you want hand holding, be that person. If you want a hug, be that person. You want to talk out, be that person. Be you, that people can see the real authentic you. Therefore, you're part of a group that we could say, yep, I could go to that person because they're going to be honest and raw with me. I could go to that person because if I need a hug or a shoulder to cry on, they're going to be there for me. That is part of being a sisterhood. That is part of being a womanhood. And that's part of being a boss lady. Come together and be authentic.
It actually ends up being a choice. You can choose to be either the good choice or the bad choice to another woman.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So remember, before we went on break, I asked you for 3 words, and one of the words was authenticity. So for your parting shot, kindly just summarize everything with your 3 keywords that you'd want every listener out there to walk away with.
Be you. Be who you want to be, and don't change just because others want you to change. Be confident that someone will be there for you, and that you can build confidence within yourself, and let go fear. Fear is just another word that we put in our negativity basket, and we always try to run with fear. But take away fear, then you become fearless.
For the listener out there who's been inspired, who's taken up motivation, from the words that you've used, from your journey, from your story, how can they reach you, Sapphire?
You can contact me any social media handles. That's 50 Savvy Women. That's on Facebook. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can look up my LinkedIn profile. That's Sapphire Gray on LinkedIn. Or you can reach out to me via email. That will be contact@savvywomen.co.uk. I'm on all the social media. My contact details are there as well. I would really welcome you just to, come and have a chat with me. Come and see how I can help. And if it was just a chat to just get you over the line of creating your business or even starting your business journey, I would love to be there for you. We offer also a 45-minute free briefing call. So if you would like to book an appointment with me, that would be excellent as well.
Well, thank you for staying tuned. It was an honor to take and share the stage today with Sapphire Gray. Now, join us next week when we'll be speaking to Kim Speed of Purple Moon Creatives to help you change your title and transition from being an employee to an entrepreneur. I'm Charity Chikene. Thank you for joining us. Now, remember to share, subscribe, review, and download our episode today that is available across all podcast networks. Goodbye.
This week's episode of the Savvy Property Investors Podcast was brought to you by our sponsor, the Savvy Women Group. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, head over to our website, www.savvywomen.co.uk, to gain access to our free resources and more insights about our guest speaker today. Remember, we make your business our business, so you can unlock your full potential and improve your quality of life.